This week in the world of news from books, beards, and brews. All right. As always, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
And I am the best intern ever, y'all, ever. I earned that this week. I earned best intern ever.
I'm pretty sure you were probably a better intern back when you were actually an intern. And
no, I actually did work this week.
She
Derek.
did. She put in some work. She
Yeah,
put in a large.
I'm a photoshopping genius.
She is. She's a Photoshop pimp.
Yeah, so I earned that best intern.
You did. You were intern of the week.
Hey.
There we go.
Ooh, can I get a plaque?
No.
Oh. Can I get a printed out certificate?
That seems a bit much.
You've got all that parchment paper. You can print it off and it could look fancy.
That sounds like effort.
If I do that,
maybe she should do it.
I'm just going to reissue it anytime. You don't get more than one. Like if you win intern of the week, which is not a given.
I'm
Not
the
a given.
only intern.
Yeah.
He said what he said.
That's what I said.
Wow.
I'm just going to reissue you. I'm actually going to hold on to that so I can just
Take it away and give it back to me?
Yeah, basically.
You ever watch Tabletop?
Yeah.
Where they
No.
give the trophy and then take it back because that's how it's going to be.
Their budget only allowed for one trophy, so they just put a little person's name on tape over it.
But I made 5 whole shirts.
You did. And actually, our buddy Cameron stopped me last night and was like, man, that horror shirt is amazing. I was like, right, that's my favorite too. Anyway,
so good.
So
Best intern.
This is
creative consultant.
You need to dial it
Ease
back
up on that.
It's about to take about 20% off there.
Best person ever. Favorite person on this podcast. Best thing of 2018.
Wow. Wow. Someone's quickly losing intern of the week status.
I am the best.
All right. So let's dive into the weekend news. This first headline is, "Don't that just Beto all?"
Beto all?
Okay.
So, those who keep up with politics might remember that Ted Cruz had a pretty close...
Respectable beard. Respectable beard.
Yeah, we've been talking about his beard.
Yeah?
Well, his opponent
yeah.
in the most recent Senate race was Beto O'Rourke.
Oh.
And apparently, he has started growing a beard. It's...
In that awkward phase.
Yeah, it's... Cruz's beard is better right now.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's like, Beto, you lost the Senate race.
You can't lose this too,
You
man.
need to win the one that really matters, which is the beard race.
Which I'm not sure he's going to. Just looking
just-
the way it looks now.
Yeah, I'm
just,
not
Well, I mean,
sure. I'm not
everybody's
sure he's gonna get
awkward
there.
in that
Well,
teenager
I know, but
stage.
He's also a lot younger
Yeah.
than Cruz. That Cruz is, I think the real strength of Cruz's beard is the salt and pepperness of it.
yeah.
It is very dapper.
But so this was an interesting little snippet. So a lot of people are talking. There's a lot of buzz about Beto running for president, perhaps. If he runs and wins and keeps his beard, he'd be the first U.S. president to sport facial hair in more than a century.
What?
When was the last one?
The last time a president had facial hair was March 4th, 1913, when William Howard Taft and his mustache left office.
God, Taft is like the best president. I love that fucker so bad. He was so fat he got stuck in a bathtub. How is that not cool? Oh, it's my favorite. I mean, there's other people who did better things,
right.
but...
So do we need to do an episode on, like, presidential facial hair? Well, I don't guess we do, because it's all out. I'm just going to give her an excuse to lose her mind over goddamn Taft.
Calm down, killer. Literally killer, because she's,
I'm real extra today. I'm sorry.
All right, so I just thought that was neat. A little more political beard news. All right, so this
Beto O'Rourke. That's a mouthful. Beto O'Rourke. It's a weird name.
So
first
this
name, last
headline-
name combination, Beto O'Rourke. 20,000 roaring orcs.
The fuck is wrong with you?
I was listening to other things. Stop looking at me.
All right, so this headline is, well, book the cruise.
Is this more Dead Cruise?
No. So between 2009 and 2015, the number of independent bookstores in the U.S. went up by 35%.
Nice.
Hey.
And print sales rose by almost 2% in 2017 and continued to rise in 2018,
Heck yeah.
mostly due to the strength of adult nonfiction sales. I wonder about that as people are like,
Adult nonfiction?
Adult nonfiction.
Right.
Well, people are getting so involved in politics.
They're reading all these.
They're reading all the memoirs
yeah.
and stuff like that. I think that probably has been they didn't say that, but I think
Yeah.
it's a factor. But so this was interesting. So Vox did an article that suggested that we're actually buying more print books because of all of our time that we spend online, in particular on our phone. Not for the reasons you're thinking. A trip to a bookstore doesn't just make for a lovely afternoon errand. It also makes for a popular and pleasing Instagram post.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I follow a lot of Bookstagram things. And
And that's what it says. Bookstagram has
the-
been used by more than 25 million times on Instagram.
yeah, that aesthetic though, and you gotta have so many nice books and the right things and like lights and the fluffy stuff to go with it. And
Yeah, it was.
boy, and you
but-
can't do that with a digital book. I've seen some of the Bookstagrams with like just their Kindle sitting next to some stuff. It's not the same.
So they were thinking that is not the reason, but a reason.
Can you see the hatred in my eyes?
I do. They also wrote that because our phones are so ubiquitous, that we're increasingly drawn to physical books as an escape.
I get that.
Books. Some independent booksellers agree that digitization has actually made people crave physical books more for their look, their feel, and their smell.
I get that. So people are buying paper books so for their Instagram. And I know that I was just gushing about my new puppy before we started recording, but
Did you get a puppy for the gram?
okay, so
Oh, get
wait,
the fuck out!
No.
Oh
no.
my God.
I did not. But this is a thing where like all black-faced animals, like
That's racist.
I knew as soon as I said it that I'm not even
You're
gonna make
putting
eye
your dog
contact
in
with Bob.
blackface? That is God. That's
She's a black puppy.
That is
So-
a level of
Oh my
racism
God.
without people.
No, so they don't photograph very well. And so, because, I mean, I was trying to take pictures yesterday of showing people that I had acquired a dog, but there's no good way to take a picture of her because she's all black. There's no, like, distinguishing marks. They're not very photogenic with camera phones. And so people...
This is possibly the most racist thing I've ever heard anyone say.
It's speciesist, if anything, but they don't get adopted from shelters as much because they're not as easy to Instagram and take pictures.
They're also unlucky. I think that's probably the bigger reason. Like black cats, because they're unlucky.
But that wouldn't help anybody from not get a black pupper.
Yeah, but Bob, tell me, would you not want a black dog protecting your house? Think about it, black dog.
I already
Black-
have a shaggy black dog that lives in my backyard, and it's real creepy. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just protecting you.
Oh, it could be. Oh, did you just
What?
Did you just let
The
Raven-
reincarnated.
No.
Yeah.
What if my puppy Raven is like creepy boyfriend dog's puppy?
Yeah,
And I've
you've
invited it in my house.
yeah.
Oh God, I'm
Well,
gonna
you're
die.
gonna die. We'll tell that story another time about the creepy.
But yeah, so people
creepy
get
dog.
paper books for
Yeah.
Instagram, and that's why they also tend to not get all black animals because they don't photograph very well. Because Instagram is life.
Okay.
I hate you so much for just saying that.
Yeah.
I don't think you believe it,
Oh, I don't. No, I'm not. I'm not.
but
an
I
Insta
think
freak.
some people do.
But yeah,
and it
there will
makes me
definitely-
hate all of you.
There are people who get paid lots of money just to take pictures on Instagram.
Oh, don't get me
dude.
wrong. I'm not going to
How
hold that
does that
against
work?
them. That's cool, but like,
Hey, make that money however
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah,
But-
but also go adopt puppies,
Yeah.
even if they don't
Adopt,
photograph
don't
very
shop.
well.
no, yeah,
Or
yeah,
find them in your
but, like,
backyard, as
Yeah,
some people do.
or have people drop them off in your backyard.
Yeah. All right. So the last headline was, "Will book the cruise." Well, this one is, but not a booze cruise. So books are doing better.
Yes.
But according to data compiled by the Wall Street Journal, U.S. alcohol volume declined 0.8% last year. 0.1 percentage point. A 0.1 percentage. Oh, fuck! I can't read.
Numbers.
A 0.1 percentage point increase over the year prior. Beer consumption took the biggest hit, but growth among wine and spirits also slowed. So again, I know we've talked about this before, but so all the liquor and beer people are getting into pot.
Yeah.
So I know I've already mentioned how InBev, who owns Anheuser-Busch, that they did a $100 million venture with a Canadian pot producer. Well, here's some more. Constellation Brands, the parent company of Corona, acquired a $4 billion stake in Canopy Growth Corp, a Canadian marijuana producer. Molson Coors said last year that its Canadian unit was partnering in a joint venture with Hydropothecary Corporation to, and I quote, pursue opportunities to develop non-alcoholic cannabis-infused beverages for the Canadian market following legalization.
Huh. Pot doesn't taste good. I don't think I would want to drink pot soda.
Well, to me, hops doesn't taste good.
No, it doesn't.
So, but when you brew
it still doesn't taste good.
It tastes better. So,
Not good.
But also to kind of also get this market back, they're developing more non-alcoholic beers. Apparently, like Molson Coors has started selling a non-alcoholic premium golden lager on Amazon that's only 45 calories per can.
But why?
Well, that's it's for more health-conscious consumers, which I can kind of get this. So, like, all right, my parents. Well,
they just need to switch to that quinoa liquor.
Hear me out. My parents were
Callback.
Hey.
My parents Mormon.
Yes.
All right. But they weren't always. They didn't grow up in the church.
Right.
My stepmom was a hippie. My dad was a oil drilling redneck, and so they drank a lot. Well, then they became Mormon, and Mormons don't drink. But they basically grew up drinking beer, and on occasion they just really wanted the taste of beer. So they would go get like a 6-pack of O'Doul's or something like that, like a non-alcoholic beer. So if you think about it, as much as craft is blowing up, like I'm sure my parents, if there had been more options on the market, they probably would have got more than just O'Doul's. You know, like granted, my parents weren't like craft beer connoisseurs, but if you think about it now, we have a generation of craft beer lovers. If they go to, if they're partaking in a dry January, they might be like, well, let me just get some of these non-alcoholic beers to kind of scratch that itch.
I get it. Conceptually, I get it.
Yeah. But to me, at the end of the day, like beer just doesn't taste good enough.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good. Like it's
like I would rather.
Plus,
I just rather
it gets you
drink a
drunk,
Coke.
and then you don't worry that it doesn't taste so good.
I would just always rather have a Coke.
I would go the other
I'm
direction,
not everyone.
and I would just like grab those alcoholic waters. So I would go the other direction.
Yeah. Same. Like, let me get trashed without tasting it, and it's just water, and I'm tricking myself, and then I'm hydrating.
It's hilarious how those taste. I bought a thing of them once just on a whim, and was like, I don't think I like this, but not actively enough to stop drinking it.
Yeah.
This is
Hard
hilarious.
water.
It's got to be really bad liquor for me to just stop drinking it.
And I told my friends about it, and they bought it, and were like, "Yeah, okay, this could be a problem. Like, you don't taste anything, and then you slam a couple
And then
of them,
you're just drunk.
like, oh, where did
Look.
that come from? I didn't
Look.
have the funky taste."
Surprise, you're drunk.
Huh.
I love it.
So, last bit of news I have is no longer relevant, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Sorry.
Huh?
No, it has nothing to do with you.
Everything has everything to do with me.
So this one is called "Free is Our Favorite Flavor."
I love free.
Because on the podcast, free is our
it's
favorite
my
flavor.
favorite
Pretty
flavor.
much, yeah.
Of
So
anything.
So
Mine is lemon, but okay. Anyways, continue.
yeah.
That's real un-American. We over here on this side of the table love the taste of free and freedom.
I didn't say I didn't dislike the taste of freedom.
Oh, you did.
No, I did
No.
not.
You
I
said
just
that it
said
wasn't your favorite
I
thing.
just say I actively enjoy lemon.
Sounds European.
I'm finna come across this table at you, bitch. We
I'm so
finna
mouthy.
throw
I'm
down.
sorry.
Yeah, so lippy.
Keep
All right,
going.
I'm
so
gonna keep drinking. See how this keeps going by the end of the next podcast.
so with the federal government shutdown
Oh.
showing few signs of resolution, he copy and pasted several days ago.
Really only like 36 hours ago.
Well,
This is
no,
real
like
quick.
yesterday is when the shutdown ended.
Oh.
But
well.
I made this on Wednesday, and then
Yeah.
Thursday the government reopens. Anyway, so area businesses.
Couldn't you have made this earlier then? Jesus, Bob. It's as
Yeah,
if you
come
weren't
on.
even trying. It's
No.
almost as if...
This is
Don't
all-
you know
this-
that when
this
you
is-
write
this
things,
is
you
my
write
Wed-
them
this-
into happening?
This is my Wednesday tradition.
Okay.
I gather the news.
Okay, well, you could have wrote this on a Wednesday, like a couple of Wednesdays ago.
Thursday,
Right. I see
Thursday
what
through
you're
the
saying.
next Wednesday, I'll screenshot stuff that I find,
Yeah.
and then on Wednesday, I look through my screenshots to see what news.
No, we get you, but you could have written this article like 3 weeks ago and saved people a lot of...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. All right. Well, so anyway,
Okay.
area businesses are stepping up to help employees about to go their second pay period without a check. Unpossible Mead in Dwight is offering a full pour of mead.
Dwight, you ignorant slut.
Is offering a full pour of mead for 25 cents to all furloughed federal employees or workers still on the job without pay. The reason they're charging 25 cents is they said that they are required by law to charge something for the alcohol. They cannot just give it away. The Book Nook in Washington is offering a free book to federal employees up to $10 in value during the shutdown. And they can then get another free book if they trade in the first book.
Huh.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So now that's no longer relevant because the
But hey,
government's
good looking out. I
Yeah.
appreciate the effort. Good
Yeah.
hustle.
Good hustle.
I mean,
Leg it out, boys.
all of that was a dumpster fire.
We're not. We're not.
But here's your
we're,
consolation beer.
we're not going to go into the
Your
politics. but
well, getting free books.
free bucks is great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would go for a quarter mug
beer?
of mead.
No, quarter mead.
Mead, which I've never
Yeah.
had. Like, I've never had mead I would trust to drink. Put it like that.
I've always been like, I made this at my house. I'm like, oh no, honey, I don't want to drink.
Oh
Sweetie,
no,
no.
honey.
Oh,
Hey, good joke.
hey. So, also, I told Bob about this, but I'm going to mention it now on the podcast because I can. So it's hilarious when, like, you know what? We'll talk about this off air.
Oh wow, what a tease! What a tease!
What a tease.
What a tease!
So, that's all the news I have.
What have you been reading?
Yeah, that's what I
What have you been reading?
think we're gonna. This intern, man. Just
Oh,
get,
I've read so many things.
Well, then you have to wait. I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, no, I have to pull up my Goodreads 'cause I read so many things.
Let's see. What have I been reading? I've been reading Ready Player One. I'm about 70 to 75% of the way through, I think.
you should try to finish it by.
I wanted to have it
next
done
week,
by this
and then we
weekend,
can
but I didn't.
have it done by next weekend, and then we could go ahead and record that episode.
I unless something significantly
Right.
changes, it'll be done by the
Cool.
weekend.
Cool.
I was reading on that. When I drive long distances, so anytime I come down here, I listen to Jade City, which, oh my god, it's so good.
How's the audiobook on that? Is it good? Good
it's-
narrator.
It's good, but it's not like it's not like Lies Locklemore or anything like that.
Okay.
But it's not one that I would be like, oh, you have to listen to it instead of reading it. But it's good. And then I've read a whole bunch of manga because I've been using the Kindle Fire you gave me.
Yeah. Is there a bunch of manga on there?
They have Comixology, so I paid the $6
yeah.
to get unlimited, and then I also found that I could just buy stuff. And there's this really good slice of life manga that I've always been meaning to finish and never actually finish, and realized that some of it was a little out of order, and it was fan
Yeah.
translated, so it wasn't perfect. And I found like the first one was for like $2, so I bought it, and then I bought the next 3
Yeah.
for like $5 each instead of the $10 it is for the hard copy.
Yeah.
And I've just been laying in bed reading it. It's been glorious.
Nice. In my land, I didn't read as much this week because the Metallica concert kind of threw me off.
Oh, so good.
Tuesday is normally a big reading day for me, and that just
Just because they get done early?
yeah, basically. But I have, for my Goodreads challenge, 52 books in a year, I have read 14, so it tells me I'm at 27%.
Nice.
This week, on audiobook, I finished Lovecraft's Monsters. It's a short story collection edited by Ellen Datlow. It's got like Neil Gaiman and some other like well-known Lovecraftian authors.
Anyone good?
Wow,
Zing.
savage. No. So I
I like when he said no.
No. So I really enjoyed this collection. There's one story that I was just like, this story's trash. But every other story in there,
I want to read the story that made
great.
Bob be like, this is trash.
It was a major element of Lovecraftian fiction is kind of that purple prose, like kind of these just elaborate descriptions of over the top kind of,
And also
stuff.
and sometimes it's not even the description itself so much as the words he chooses
Right.
to like just the flow of the language.
People still do that a lot. This story took that to the nth degree. I cannot actually tell you what that story was about for real.
This sounds like a Derek story.
Oh
to
god,
me.
it was awful. Anyway, I'm not going to say who the author was because I don't want to shit talk authors unless they've personally offended me. But the collection was great. So I highly recommend it. The cool thing about it was Ellen Datlow, she set out in editing this. She wanted to find stories that were a little less typical of the Lovecraftian genre. So you get like a Western in there that was really good. Like, a lot of cool stuff. Well, the real star was the guy who read it. Did I write down his name? No, because I'm a piece of shit. But
So long as we're on the same page.
he basically did a completely different voice for every fucking story. Like,
That's
the
awesome.
Western story, he read it in a very, like, Western-y kind of voice. And, like, it was amazing.
It's got tentacles, y'all. Be careful.
Basically.
No, he was definitely McCree from Overwatch. That's
It
what he
was amazing. It was the best narrator I've ever heard. The book I read was The Orphan Tales #1 in the Night Garden by Catherine M. Valenti. This was real fucking good. It's basically... what do they call those, like, Russian nesting dolls?
Babushkas?
Babushkas.
I mean, they have another name, but they're babushkas. They're
All right,
dolls.
so babushkas, the nesting dolls, where it's like tiny doll inside of a slightly bigger doll, inside of a slightly bigger doll, inside of a slightly bigger doll. That's kind of what this was. Basically, like, the framing narrative is this girl that may be a demon telling a story to the Sultan's son. And she, like, starts to tell a story. Well, as she's telling the story, someone in the story would be like, oh, well, let me tell you this story. And they'll start telling that story, which in that story,
Someone tells a story.
someone tells a story.
Ooh,
and
stories like Inception.
it kind of jumps around, and then, like, all the stories end up becoming interwoven together. Like, you realize, like, it's something that you would pick up, like, oh my god, that reference to bear. Well, I know that guy is a shape-changed bear. Oh, I bet you that. Oh my god, I bet you he's the guy in this prophecy. But no
That
one
sounds
else does.
cool.
It was really good. And so it was almost more like two novellas, because it's the same framing narrative, but, like, the first half of it is this one series of interwoven stories that comes to a resolution, and then the next one is a bunch of interwoven stories that come to a resolution. But there are crossover things between them. So I looked at, they didn't have a cheap Kindle version of the second book in the series, but I wanted it. I'm not going to pay $9.99 for any Kindle book. That's just the way I am as a person.
Yeah, same.
I'm just not going to pay $10 for a digital product like that. I'm just not. I'm a piece of shit. Whatever.
Oh no, they need to adjust their pricing for digital books. I know it's the same content, but you don't have the materials.
But at least knock $1 or $2 off. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I get you still
Depends
have
how
paid,
much I want it.
It's still, well, yeah,
No.
that's the thing. I did actually end up paying the appropriate amount of money
I
for
was-
Tigana.
I was laying in bed after I finished that
Find
first
the Dollar Song.
manga. I finished it and was like, I want the next one. Oh, it's literally twice as expensive as that first one. I don't care. I'm laying in bed. I'm super comfy. I'm warm, and I want to read more. Bye.
Well, like, one of the
how they get ya.
One of the
I'm
things
okay with
that's
that.
very common now in, like, fantasy trilogies, the first one will be $2.99, the second
Yeah.
one will be $5.99, and the last one will be $7.99.
Yeah.
Which actually, that to a degree, that makes sense, because
I'm okay with
every
that.
book,
You have investment.
every book in the trilogy sells less than the one before. So if you're trying to make an equivalent amount of money,
You need to
like, it kind
charge
of makes
more.
sense. But also having the
Price
the
go
first-
up might be why.
Well, no, that's just. But, like, also having a low price entry point.
Yeah.
People will buy a book for $2.99 if they really like it. Like, well, fuck yeah, I wouldn't have paid $5.99
I
for it.
wouldn't have
But
known I was going to
But
like
now I
it.
know
but
what
I
I'm
read,
getting
but now I
into.
know. It's like, so.
Yeah.
So what did you read?
Okay. So I'm currently reading Present Over Perfect by Shauna Nyquist. It's
Self-helpy.
yeah. It was
Okay.
a free book, I think.
Yeah.
It's okay. And I'm reading on Audible, I guess, listening to Emma by Jane Austen, and that has been amusing so far because oh, Emma, you're so stupid. I love it. She's so dumb. Ugh,
I'm actually not reading anything
Really?
right
Okay.
now because I finished Orphan's Tales 1 last night.
Yeah.
And every time I finish an audiobook, I catch up on my podcasts. So I just got caught up on my podcast. So today I'll be figuring out what
What you're gonna read?
I'm going to read and what I'm going to listen to next. Probably going to be The Three Body Problem is what I listen to.
Well, you talked about where you're at on your Goodreads challenge.
Yeah.
I have finished 12. I'm in book 13 and 14 now. This week I banged through a whole bunch of like short books. Like I was cleaning off my Kindle Unlimited list. So I read a poetry book that I didn't like, so I'm not going to talk about who it was, but it was real not good. But I read that, and then read 4 like short smut books. Those were enjoyable. I finished Becoming by Michelle Obama. Finished The Dungeoneers.
Fucking great.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. So I finished like 7 books this week. But they were all fairly short. But
Yeah.
I read, it feels good to be like, ooh, bitch, I read 7 books this week.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's wrap this up so we can record what y'all should be reading. If you haven't read them yet, you have until Wednesday when this episode comes out to read
2 short stories.
Sun, Moon, Dust by Ursula Vernon and The Martian Obelisk by Linda Nagata. There are links to both in the short reads section of the Books, Beards, Booze website. So give them a read. We're about to discuss them.
They are real brief.
And yeah, they're short. And I'm not no spoilers. So yeah. As you tackle the upcoming week, may the blessing of the beard be upon you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tanya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.